So here we are. Here we are again, and the guys have come in and they're putting the 5,000 litre water tank over there. So we've run the feed pipe and the electrical conduits for the pump, for the bore pump down here. So we've taken the control panels off. They're not going to be fitted on the wall here. That was only temporary. They're going over on the equipment pad there. Look, here's a look inside what's inside this thing. It looks like the power comes into a circuit breaker switch. We've got a main relay. Looks like a current sensing device there with an adjustable current on it. Terminal block. Now this thing says phase protector. So that's protects a phase, or somehow. Don't get that. Single phase, so yeah, it's protecting the phase, I don't know. And whatever that thing is, an RT18M-32X. I need one of those. There's the little control box. I wasn't sure what was in that last video, but yeah, like I thought, it's just a large capacitor in there for a phase shift capacitor. That's all it is. Most induction motors, you know, have that capacitor mounted on top of the motor, but yeah, it makes sense because it's down the bore, so you don't want a capacitor stuck on the side of your motor. So it's remote. They've mounted in that box, and nothing fancy there. It's just a glorified capacitor box. And we're digging away. Let's have a look at that equipment pad. Here's the guys. Pray Our Water Filtech. There's the company. Very good company. From the Water Quality Association. Very good. And we've had the Tessa barn. That's like the local council come out this morning and inspect everything. They've done an inspection and checked the size of the bore, which is yeah, it's a bit of a, they play a game with that, with the size of the bore. So they put a bigger bore than what the last bit of pipe coming out is. So it might be an 8-inch pipe with a 6-inch coming out the top, or whatever. I think you're only allowed up to a certain size of bore pipe. Here we have a demand pump, or an auto pump. They call it the auto pump over there. I think we'll come back to this when it's a bit more complete. I think we got room for a second tank. Might be handy in the future. Get 10,000 litres of water in tank. Guys are doing a very good job. Very good. Very happy with these guys. The guys are hooking up the demand pump. or I think they call it the auto pump, to the tank. Tank's in there. Okay, that's the way it's done. That is how it's done. He's got that fancy cutter there that cuts the pipe. Very good, very good. Okay, so here's the setup now. Power from the power box down into the ground to the wellhead. There's power going into the well pump, the bore pump. They both come under the ground here and pop up here. So we've got our power coming in and our power going back out to the bore pump after the control panel. Then from the control panel here we have power going to the demand pump. That's the auto pump for the water out of the tank. Water out of the tank comes out the bottom. There's provisions here for a second tank. Goes through a check valve into the demand pump. After the demand pump goes out, that pipe going down there goes over there to feed the old tanks, fill up the old tanks before filtering. They're going to be like reserve tanks over there, emergency tanks, call them. Water after the demand pump, the water goes into the filter. It's got a backwash valve, so the backwash just goes overboard there, and the outlet of the filter on the other side, this outlet goes down and off over there. Comes up here and feeds into the house system. So they've tapped into the house system here. At the moment we've got this shut off, so we're trying to empty the old tank using the old house pump, which won't be really used anymore. We're trying to empty those tanks down. Jenny's over there watering durians there with the hose behind there. So she's using water from these old tanks. We're trying to run those tanks down and empty them so that the guy is going to come back and repair the dreaded bamboo spike. He's going to fix that up when the tanks are empty. So that's very good. And that's about it. They'd forgotten the way to connect the front of the house, which is what the whole purpose of this water supply is, to water the durians, and there's no way to get water out to the side of the house where the durians are. So that's this interconnect pipe here. joins into that pipe which goes to the taps out the front of the house, which will be used for the durian watering, and back that way to that tap as well. So all very interesting, and it's just about done. The only downside of it would be if ever we need to use the emergency tanks, that water won't be filtered. Yeah, that's right. If ever we need to use these tanks for the house, it'll be just going straight into that pump and into the house, so it won't have a filter anymore. This tank's water. Yeah, but if we turn the valves exactly like they are now, you're using the house water from those tanks, right? Now if you turn a tap on inside the house, you're using this exact same water as that from that tank, from those two tanks. Now, the way the valves are, you're using the old tanks with the old pump, and it's supplying all of the house and that hose that you're using.
But not one because they turn off over there.
It's going now, you're using it.
Yeah, but they go in here because turn off for the house over there.
Yeah, but you're using this water. You are.
I use this one now because this water not go up the hill.
Yes, it is.
No, they turn because turn off. If you turn on over there, yes.
No. That tap over there that you're using now is the same as all the taps in the house. It's the same system.
Yeah, but not from this tank water.
Now it is. It's emptying that tank. That's what we're doing. That's why we're using that hose. We're emptying those tanks down.
This tank not go in the house.
It is right now.
But you turn because this is the turn on off over there.
These tanks right here, the old ones, now, is where that water you're using is coming from. And if you turn a tap on inside the house, it's coming from exactly the same. Now, right now.
No, this is not go inside.
Well,
Because
I'm telling you it is. And it's emptying these tanks. That hose that you're using right now, where that water's coming from, is the same water as what's inside the house. It is. 100% sure. And you can hear the house pump over there. That's what's pumping the water out of there.
that one not the pump from the to the house anymore.
But it is now, the way it's set up, it is. I'm telling you it is. Do you think that hose now is the only thing that's connected to that tank?
Just only this tank only.
You think that hose is the only thing that's connected? Every tap in the house is connected to that same pipe that you're using for that hose. And it's coming out of those tanks through that pump without the filter. That's your emergency system. If something ever goes wrong with this system, the new one here, this is what you'll be using. It's the two concrete tanks with that house pump for the bathrooms and the kitchen, and that hose. Then that's all you'll have. Yeah, so you can see the problems they had. They instead of just leaving this for the house and that for the watering the garden, they moved the filter over here and turned this into the primary tank that's going to feed the house and everything, the garden and the house. And these ones will be a backup if ever something fouls up here. This will be the emergency system, and this is virtually an interconnect valve here. this valve is lets the concrete tanks through this pump. This valve here lets it into the house system, and there's the house system going off there. This is the new tanks coming in. These are the old tanks coming in. So depending, we got this open and this one closed. That's a selection of the old tanks or the new tanks. And this one, they haven't put a stopcock here because it's over there on the filter. You turn it off at the filter. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to explain. It's a plumbing nightmare. And don't even ask what all this is. There's the second emergency system up there. That was the backup system for this system. And that gravity system there is filled up from here, from the old house pump. That would fill up that tank up there, and then if it needed to be used, it came down that large pipe, this big pipe right here. So then we had to open that, and that let it into the house pump. Look, this whole plumbing system, it was half sensible before, now it's just out of control. And you can see really poor old Jenny has no understanding of the controls, where it's even come at the moment, but it doesn't really matter. As long as water comes out the hose, who cares? It's Thai style. And finally the bamboo spike has come out and they've repaired the damage there. I mean, they're good. They've done everything they said they'd do.